Hi, I'm Dr. Stacy Moss, and I was given this topic to do a Lightning talk about. I'm the PIC of the TCU HSC Pharmacy. Unfortunately, I had to have surgery last week, and I will be unavailable to meet with you live. So Dr. F suggested that I record this and put it on YouTube, and I will also give you some extra information that will be put on there as well. Before I begin, I want to say this is my very first lecture. I've been a preceptor for a very long time, over a decade, but I've never lectured, and the best way would have been to get to see all your smiling faces. So I apologize if I do any ums or hums or whatever. I was the graduate of the third class. I got my BCPS in 2005. I got my master's in pharmacy administration and public policy in 2009. I practiced for 15 years. My first position I held for 10 years at Covenant Health System. I started out at Covenant Medical Center on the evening shift in the basement. And then as we started decentralizing, I became one of the first pharmacists that decentralized. My team and I went to the cardiac ICU and the step-down unit. But in my tenure, I was on the TPN and anti-coag team. I developed the pharmacokinetics team and taught kinetics. I also taught ACLS and BLS for our pharmacists so they didn't feel intimidated when they went into a code. I then went into the education field and then became the compliance officer in 2009. And in 2012, my family thought I lost my mind, and I moved to Harker Heights and started a brand new hospital. I did that for 2 years. I was a clinical coordinator, and during that time, I developed policies and procedures and protocols and put them all in the EMR system. Was on the several different teams to improve patient care. I rounded with the doctors every day in ICU and on the floor. Loved it. My health didn't like it. After 2 years, I moved home, and I was very honored when Dr. Seifert and Mr. Habiger gave me this position. I've been here for 3.5 years, and it's a sister facility to the Amarillo Pharmaceutical Care Center. We are a little bit different. We're class AS pharmacy. So we compound drugs. We have a 797 clean room. We are about to move in March. And when we do, we'll have one of the first class 800 pharmacies. We're super excited about our move. So now, without further ado, let's go into the calculation. And I remember from when I was a student, all this was foreign to me. If you're science-based and healthcare-based, you're probably thinking, I will never use this. I thought I would never use this, and here I am. As the old commercial said, hooked on phonics worked for me. I took this class, I took my master's classes, and now I have ran a successful independent state-based pharmacy. I have hit the button to hide myself, and I hope that I'm doing that. Otherwise, I may be covering up some of the numbers. But let's get into gross margin. What is gross margin? Gross margin is your profit. So how do you find that out? Well, it's the total sales minus the cost of goods sold. We'll go into cost of goods sold here in a minute, but let's just get gross margin down. So I'm using our pharmacy, the fiscal year stats for our pharmacy to teach. So our pharmacy made just over $2.1 million last year. Our cost of goods was just over $1.6 million, and we made a grand total of $426,124.17. So for all you math whizzes, to get the gross margin percent, you take that number that we got, that $426,124.17, and you divide it by the total sales, which again was $2.1 million. And what is your answer? So, are we profitable? The goal is to be over 20%, and we are at 20.26%. So yes, we were profitable. So I'd like to talk a little bit about cost of goods sold. What is cost of goods sold? In an independent pharmacy, cost of goods sold is simply the cost of the merchandise that you buy from a supplier, which you then resell to customers. It does not include operational expenses such as labor, utilities, rent, salaries, or other overhead. So, cost of goods sold is treated as an expense, which is deducted from your revenue. And that's how you determine gross profit. So, why do we care about cost of goods sold? Well, if your cost of goods sold is high, your gross profit will be low, and that is not good. So typically the two largest invoice items purchased by a pharmacy will be your brand name drugs and your generic drugs. Depending on the pharmacy's product mix, it may be needed to purchase items with higher cost or items with a lower cost. In either case, it's important to understand how these items are priced to ensure that you make the proper revenues on these items. Increasing or decreasing your cost of goods sold will impact your gross profit. With your inventory costs decrease, your gross profit will likely increase. And when your inventory cost increases, you will decrease your gross profit. So, how do we maintain a fairly good cost of goods sold so that we do make a profit? Well, inventory control is key. So how do you improve it? Trying to look at your contracts a lot will help. Discussing prices with your primary and secondary wholesalers will also help, and they'll help keep your account competitive. Keep your account on their mind. So the things that you use the most, they'll try to get at a cheaper price. You want to make sure that you maintain proper inventory accounting principles, so we don't just do inventory at the end of the year, but we do it monthly. We do some sections quarterly, and we send stuff back that we're not using, even though you may not get full price back on the item. Getting 80% back may be very beneficial. And you want to make sure that you purchase wisely and take advantage of any incentives that are offered by your suppliers. All right, so let's go to our next. So our cost of goods sold percentage is the cost of goods divided by total sales and multiplied by 100. And as you can see, ours is about 79, and our goal is 80-20. And better than that, we're very happy. So net income percent is net income divided by sales times 100. So our net income was $72,458.18 over 2.1 million and change. So roughly a 3.44% is what I calculated, and the average is between 3 and 5%. So inventory turnover is the cost of goods sold divided by the average inventory at cost. So what I did was I took our cost of goods sold for the year, that 1.6 million number that I keep bringing up, and before September 1 every year we have to do an annual inventory. Unlike some other places, we have to inventory every peel. So I know my inventory one year was 150, last year was 154. So the beginning inventory of last year was 150, the ending inventory was 154. That makes the average 152. And then the cost of goods, was. So if the inventory turnover is cost of goods sold divided by the average inventory at cost, what is our ITO? So I calculated 11.03. So what does that mean? That means that I turn over my inventory 11.03 times. The national average is 6 to 8. So we're doing really good on this area. So because of our time allowance and because we work for the state and we cannot carry over any debt, this is all of the real world examples I have for you. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity to show what we do and to show you some real life examples of how you will use this. I know from my experience at the hospital, being able to show how a clinical service will help the hospital save money will also come in handy. I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions, just email me. Thank you, and have a great day.